But it's Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're going to take a look at a slightly older keyboard now, but finally managed to get my hands on one of these after, weirdly, about 3 years of this being on the market. This is the MSI Vigor GK50 low profile TKL ARGB keyboard, a somewhat portable device coming in at only 560 grams. Also has a removable USB Type-C cable connection, which actually a good few years ago wasn't always a common thing. Also, this particular keyboard, when you buy it brand spanking new, unlike me, I bought this used from CEX here in the UK for around 30 quid, which I think is actually fantastic value for money. Originally, these came out at somewhere around the sort of £70 mark. And if you were to buy them brand spanking new, you would come with a MSI detachable gold-plated USB Type-C to Type-A cable. You'd also get a drawstring carry bag to transport this thing around to other places, should you wish to. And also it would come with a keycap puller and obviously a retail package. But I bought this secondhand from CEX. Again, fantastic value, I think, for around about 35 quid, including postage, etc. Yeah, I don't think you can go too far wrong with this one. So let's quickly draw through some of the specs of this. So this has, like I said, a removable USB Type-C cable. It has a 1000 Hertz polling rate. Also has per key ARGB lighting. Should you wish to use that, you can turn it off if you want to. Fully controllable either from the onboard keys on the deck itself or through MSI Center, in which case if you've got other MSI peripherals, you can join them all up and they'll all synchronize. So lighting wise, all the bases are covered there. Also, the keycaps are a floating style, so you can quite easily see the RGB lighting underneath. And also the keycaps are very kind of their era when these came out. So these are using the octagonal type keycaps with a slight kind of beveled edge around the outside edge. They are low profile as well, so very small, shallow profile. And when it comes to the key switches, you're looking at the Kailh low profile chocolate white clicky switches, which have a 1.5mm pre-travel, 3mm of total travel, and use around about 50 grams of force. And they are clicky as all hell, as you can hear. Very clicky indeed. So if you're thinking, well, I kind of like the style of this and the size suits me absolutely fine, and having a TKL means you've got a little bit more desktop real estate available to you. But unfortunately, the only switches these come with are these white low profile ones. That is it. Now, if you are interested in doing some modification, you can actually swap them out. They are able to be desoldered. You can take the entire keyboard apart. There's about 12 screws to take apart, and you can gain access to the PCB inside, at which point then you can desolder your switches and put in new ones if you want to. I don't think many people are going to do that, so I think it's a shame that MSI never actually kind of said, well, okay, we'll maybe throw in some reds or some browns or something to give you the option if you don't like the clicky nature, but kind of guess it is what it is. The keycaps themselves, like I said, are octagonal and kind of almost like a tablet design. They are also ABS, they're not PBT, but they are double shot, so they should last a reasonable amount of time. Again, there's going to be an unfortunate thing if you do have this keyboard for an extended period. The keycaps eventually are going to wear through because they are ABS, not PBT, so not quite as long lasting as they would be, but certainly I think for most people it's going to be fine. And a testament to this, again, this keyboard is probably somewhere in the region of about 3 years old by now and has a previous owner, but there doesn't appear to be any real obvious signs of wear on the keyboard at all. So take that as you will. I think these generally should last a long time, unless you're the sort of person who sits at your keyboard eating Wotsits or Cheetos or fried chicken or whatever, and you get all those kind of weird oils on your hands and on your keyboard. If you don't look after it, obviously it's going to wear out. Anyway, I digress. So the keyboard itself, great. Really nice lighting on here, as you've probably seen from some B-rolls, very nice and bright, fully adjustable. Again, with those keys on the side, you can adjust the speed, the brightness and all that kind of stuff, or you can do it all in MSI Center as well. When it comes to the actual ergonomics of this, because obviously it is low profile, there's a little bit of a ergonomic sweep to the key there, which is kind of nice. And also in terms of adjustment, so depending on which angle you want to type at, if you have it as standard in the flat mode, you're looking around about a 5-degree incline. If you go to the feet on the back, which there are 2 settings, so you can flip out the smaller feet, which is actually a little bit difficult to do in this particular instance, and I do actually struggle with those. So if you put those up, then you're going to be looking around about an 8-degree incline, and if you go the whole hog and pull the feet all the way out, you're looking at about 11 degrees. Now for me personally, I prefer it to be actually on its flattest setting, but obviously depending on what suits you, go with whatever you want. There isn't any wrist rest included with this at all, and also part of kind of MSI's design, there is this kind of ledge around the top and also the bottom as well, so there's a little bit of extra real estate. If you wanted something a little bit more compact, there are other models available which are a little bit smaller. But I kind of like the way they've done this because you've got an ABS housing, so it's ABS plastic pretty much all the way through, but the top plate is a kind of brushed aluminium look, which I think is actually quite stylish, and in certain lights does look slightly different colours. Almost has a kind of titanium hint to it, and possibly a little bit of blue in there as well. So yeah, depending on the light it's in, it does give off some actually quite nice looks. You've also got the MSI Dragon imprinted on there, and also on this side you've also got some LEDs as well, which is something you don't always get on smaller keyboards. You do get a Windows key lockout light warning there, and also if you turn on the caps lock, get a light there as well. Obviously no num lock light because there's no number lock pad on there. But you don't lose all of the keys in a TKL, so you've still got your arrow keys and you've still got some of the function buttons here, delete, insert, etc. And you've got some modest media keys as well, which can be accessed using the function key, which is the Dragon key. So press that, and that is your basically your modifier. So you can use alternative functions such as F1 will bring up things like afterburner. Also, if you press it and hold it, you can adjust light, brightness, colors, all that kind of good stuff. So it's all pretty well thought out and in a relatively lightweight design. I personally like this as well because of the fact that it does use a USB Type-C connection and is detachable, which I think for a lot of people these days, that is one of those kind of things you really do require. Having a captive cable these days on keyboards, I think, is just a sign of cheapness. So the fact you can replace the cable, should you wish to, with a nice coiled aviator style one, or if your keyboard is maybe slightly further away from your desktop PC, you can use an extension USB cable on there if you want to. So having those options I think is really good. And of course USB cables have a tendency to break every now and then, so the fact you can swap out and your keyboard will continue working, I think is pretty cool. So overall, control of this, absolutely great, no problems at all. Let's take a quick look at MSI Center. So you can go into MSI Center and you can configure things in software such as macros if you want to. You can set up macro keys. Also, there's 3 onboard profiles as well, which you can manage in MSI Center. And also, of course, you can go into the MSI Center and control the various types of RGB, which are pre-installed on here. So you can do things like your ripple, your fades, all that kind of stuff. You can go to town, or you can go in and customize your own lighting. So if you've got a particular style you want to have or a particular lighting setup, you can set it exactly how you wish to. So I suppose what a lot of you are going to be wondering is, okay, looks great, price is potentially going to be great, but what does it actually sound like? So let's do some typing and see what it actually sounds like. So overall, I think it actually sounds okay. If you're into your clicky keyboards, then this is going to be absolutely fine. Something they have done as well, which is one of those things which a lot of keyboard manufacturers are doing now as a default thing. But back when this came out, it was a very rare thing to do. And it was the fact that they pre-lubed the stabilizers. So you've got stabilizers on them, even though they're low profile keys, they do have some stabilizers in the larger keys, and they come from the factory pre-lubed. So you shouldn't have to do anything to this at all. When you get it out of the box, just basically plug it in, set up your software if you want to, or set up your lighting, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, I've actually been using this for around about a month now over on my video editing PC, which has been over there, which I have also got an MSI motherboard. MSI, basically most of it is MSI, so it's been really nice to have the RGB lighting all synchronized in there. That's been excellent. And potentially I might end up putting this on the streaming PC behind me to replace the GK71 full size, because it's got a small desk there, so I might end up putting that here just to give me a little bit more real estate for when I'm doing some of my tutorials and how-to videos. So I've got a little bit more room when I'm moving my mouse around. But for gaming, for typing, and for productivity, such as Adobe Premiere and spreadsheets and things like that, absolutely great, because of course you've got your arrow keys, so navigating through your spreadsheets is absolutely fine. So you can have a gaming keyboard, but not actually have to go the full hog into like a 60% or 75% and lose some of the functionality which some of us use on a daily basis. Anyway, I've waffled on for way too long about this. I really like it. If you can pick one up used for around about sort of £35, I think it's a good bargain, and you should definitely consider it, especially if you're into your low profile keyboard setups. Otherwise, I think there are a few options on the market available, especially from some of those kind of off-brand types. You know the ones I mean, the sort of things you can pick up on AliExpress quite easily. Although on AliExpress, it's often difficult to get a keyboard with a UK layout, which, as if you're a regular viewer, you'll know that that's something which I really do insist on, having a UK layout for my keyboards. Anyway, that's been the MSI Vigor GK50 low profile TKL. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, smash the like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe and the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.